Hello, you're watching Avenue X, and today let's talk about a recently finished airing Chinese web period fantasy idol drama 念无双, A Moment But Forever. This is a 36-episode drama that has recently finished airing on iQIYI, given if you pay extra money. It is directed by Guo Hu, the director who's got multiple dramas, some of them well received, some of them very questionable. Let's say overall this director has done better period dramas than contemporary dramas. As for the story itself, it is based on an existing web novel. During the airing of this drama, the original writer was actually also watching the drama and posted on social media of being very happy. And because there's a lot of adaptation, so the original author wouldn't necessarily even know how the story is gonna end. In terms of the adaptation writer, it is credited to Zhao Na, who also took part in quite a few years ago, till today, I think one of the best Chinese idol fantasy period drama, Xian, Love and Destiny. That drama was credited to 3 writers, and she's the first one. So maybe there is something consistent about a writer writing things that even crossing time kind of resonates with certain audiences, in that case, me. This drama was shot from September to December 2023. I just feel I have a little bit fateful entanglement with this drama, given that I liked it. I actually walked onto its set before it started shooting, and then the writer of it is also the writer of the other Xian drama that I really appreciated ever since I started this channel. And one funny thing I want to let people know, if you're not aware of it, is this is an iQIYI production. It's done by one of those iQIYI studios of making dramas, and that studio is pretty much completely bankrupt at this point. It basically has no budget of promotion, therefore they didn't do anything. You can tell iQIYI has given up on it because this was exclusively an iQIYI production, but when it's airing, they sold parts of the right to Youku, so this drama is actually airing on Youku at the same time. In terms of cast, you know it's Tang Yan and Liu Xueyi. Both of them have been working in Chinese dramaland for a long time. She would be even longer, and then she is also one of those initial generation of Xian genre actress, being most famous for her role in Xian, third one. As for Liu Xueyi, he's been around for too many years, playing so many period drama, handsome leading guy, or supporting role, honestly, so he doesn't need more introduction. In terms of the supporting roles, you have Guo Xiaoting, also a frequenter of period dramas. You have Wang Hongyi, who's come out in recent years, well known for the role in Lost True Forever, although it's like a male 4th lead. Then it also features Zhou Keyu, yet to make a mark in the industry, and then also a lot of guest starring from the universe of this fantasy world. Up till today, already had a couple of dramas made. For example, the Zheng Yecheng and Zhao Lusi drama a few years ago, 三千鸦杀, is also within this universe, and Zheng Yecheng is gonna make a cameo, kind of guest starring, showing up in this. Also, the character played by Bai Shu is also in 三千鸦杀, one of those stories in this author's fantasy idol drama universe. Parts of this drama is so good, I will give it 3 gold mine. And that's totally on the writing part. Because of the ending, I wouldn't say it's bad or crush, but it fell back to comfort zone of the genre. Therefore, I would rate the last bit of the drama lower. If I average it out, it would be 2 gold mine. I feel really it's a pity that it didn't reach its full potential. I don't know exactly what happened, given this drama's company is pretty much bankrupted. I guess I couldn't blame them for too much. Now let's go in to talk about the story, introduce the drama, set up to you, and then the good and the bad. This drama is adapted from an existing novel. If you read the novel, there will be some discrepancies between character setup and ending and everything. So in this video, I will just only focus on the drama itself. Our female lead character, she used to be a human. She is very good at engineering, ancient time version. So talented at doing that and invented such great things that she basically got promoted to become an immortal by heaven's decree. And she's been an immortal for a couple of thousands of years, during which time certain bad things happened to the heavenly celestial realm, broken the connection between the heavenly realm and the human realm. Before that, a human can ascend to become an immortal by doing certain things. After that breakage of the channel between these two realms, it's no longer possible. For the heavenly realm to come down to human world, it's also very difficult because of the channel broken. They have to go through a type of wall that is chaotic space and time, where they get pretty much destroyed, and it's hard to survive even for the heavenly beings. So ever since then, no heavenly immortals have actually physically come down to human plane to get something that she created when she was an mortal that got dropped to human realm, very powerful, lost and needs to get retrieved. She risked her life and went through a lot of trials to go through that wall without the channel. During her travel, she actually encountered a little fox that later becomes the male lead, but at early stage he's just a little fox. That's their sort of beginning of their intertwined fate. And many years later, when she eventually succeeded at sort of like waking up in human realm and go and search for that magical gauntlet, basically it's Thanos' gauntlet, she found that that thing has been picked up by a race that lives on the human plane but not human. They're basically fox, so they have magic and they live longer than normal humans. It has integrated with our male lead, so he's the one who managed to take on the power of that magical gauntlet, and he's rumored to be a really bad guy. Her task was to go to this person and then take it away from him, and basically by doing that will kill him, but then she will be able to retrieve this immortal superpower weapon. But then she approaches him and realized he's not a bad guy as people would rumor him being. And so she argued with the heavenly committee about how to deal with this thing. It's unfair to kill him just to get that weapon. She bargained with that committee saying that until he lived out his natural length of life, which is a couple of 100 years, when he dies, the gauntlet will naturally separate from him. So then she will take it back to the immortal realm. And the immortal realm is like they live indefinitely. So they were like, okay, but then you have to make up 3 promises. It's like your vow. You cannot break them. If you do, you die. Which consists of, first, she cannot let people know who she really is when she's in human realm. Fair, that's like classic thing. Second is she cannot let people know her purpose, which is she's approaching him to get the gauntlet. Third is she cannot fall in love with him, because if you do, you are gonna be partial and you cannot be that. She said, okay, fine, and then she went to do it. So the first 2-3 episodes is used to set up this thing, letting you know who the male lead is, who she is, why this is necessary. I wouldn't say this is a spoiler, it's kind of just setting it up. And by hearing what I've told you, you kind of already guess what's gonna happen later, okay? Because of the classic, I have 3 vows and I can't break them. Now, divide and conquer. On the positive end, the things that I highly appreciate of this drama. Unique about this drama, number 1, very small point, it actually has really good music. Whether it's OST or it's like background track, it's pretty well written. And I think they put quite a lot of effort. And if you look at these panel of singers, they're actually very good singers too. I feel like when they were making the drama, they really wanted to give it like a really high level of resources. So they did quite a lot of work for the music. Unfortunately, happened later. It's just a pity that if you don't watch drama, you probably will never come across its songs. Second point. This is a very fun drama, at least the first 3 quarters. Because later when it got serious, they don't have that much time to actually joke around about things. But this is a very lighthearted, very fun, constantly giving you surprise and comedy drama. And a lot of it actually comes from the characters, because they are who they are, so they think and talk in certain ways, and because they're very different, therefore when they talk, it creates naturally comedy, often in the sense of I don't quite understand you, but the other person is being dead serious, and that creates this type of constant, just ridiculous comedy. Our male lead character, played by Liu Xueyi, he's in the state earlier in the story of not antisocial, but he's like given up on humanity and living, and he's in this very retired and whatever state of his life, and he literally couldn't care less about anything. And then our female lead is this very clear-headed, very goal-orientated. She is actually really good, and she genuinely means what she says, which is, I will stay with you till you die, because that's her task. At that point, she's not interested in him personally at all. She needs to complete her task, and then she believes him being a good person, therefore she sides with him. I'll just accompany you, never tell you who I am really, but I promise you I'll take care of you. I will never interfere with what you do. I'll basically just follow you till the end of the earth until you die. And she means it very genuinely, but that confuses the guy, because the guy is completely surrounded by people who want to take advantage of him all his life. So she walks into his life and acts in this completely genuine, kind, real way, but for this absolutely he cannot understand purpose. So that creates a lot of just really funny comedy. The part where she dies like 7 times and comes back to life, and he keeps getting more and more confused about why she just does not go away. In usual Xianxia world, you'd say that the male lead is such a jerk. But because of the setup, it makes complete sense and it's actually really fun. It's like one of those rare dramas that's so ridiculous, but at the same time completely logical. So if you want to see really good comedy, you have to go and watch this drama. It will entertain you, I promise. Third point. This drama is written probably by this author. I don't know if it's in the original novel, whether it has like all this or it's like added by the adaptation writer, but whatever, the people who are responsible for certain plots in this drama, they're definitely sci-fi fans, 21st century sci-fi fans who happen to be writing a xianxia. So they put a lot of sci-fi ideas into this drama. For example, our female lead, she used to be a human. She was an engineer. She made mechanical things that make wonders. So in this drama, she's super scientific and logical about doing her stuff, and she would actually explain how her magic works, such as the thing that shoot herself and then make her disappear because it absorbs light, and so people cannot see light reflecting off, therefore they cannot see her. You'll have basically the ancient version of the giant flying machine in the air that's powered by a form of nuclear reactor, and it actually has dual engines, so if one fails, the other can still function. You have solar panel, although they didn't show you, they told you like people use that energy. There's ancient time version of like UV light, whatever machine for you to tell if the money is real money or fake. There's even super high tech of folding dimensions and spaces, and if you watch the last couple of episodes, there's like this one sequence that so comes from Liu Cixin's novel, two-dimensional weapon that basically crushes the solar system into a piece of painting in two-dimensional world, and that happened in this drama. And there's just so much that's in the conversation of characters and in the things they do and in the magic they do that actually is science-based. During the watching of this drama, I constantly joke about this is the 科教兴国仙侠, which is science and education to revitalize the nation. It's like a project of China. And in the drama setting, there are multiple races that lives in this world, like human, the fox. There's another 战鬼, which is like a warrior ghost, but they're previously immortals. They just got casted down from the immortal realm and immortals. So you can say there are four main existence in this world, and humans are the weakest, shortest lifespan, weakest natural power, no magic. But the humans are the people who have engineering geniuses. They invent scientific things. They help themselves to become stronger. Almost the first time, I'd say, among all the xianxia dramas I've watched in years, where the weak, no magic, short-lived human race, because of their intelligence and their devotion to science, actually managed to grow their race and become powerful, and having the audacity to challenge bigger, more powerful existence. That is really, really rare. They even have this organization underground, in a way like a terrorist organization, but also in a way like a revolutionary organization that's made up basically by human engineers who want to develop science further instead of rely on magic and then establish human race in that way. So it's really interesting. Like, you just never seen that being injected into Chinese xianxia drama. Previously, I've said right now, if you want to do this genre, you just have to do it so new and so refreshing, and maybe make a cyberpunk xianxia. That would be the reason why people would be interested in watching your drama. And this drama actually, in its content, did a lot of that. It didn't capture a lot of people's attention for other reasons, but the actual script, if you look at it, is already doing what I hoped this genre could be doing as a renewal of its existence sort of structure and worldview. So in essence, I really highly appreciate the drama. Unfortunately, it just has problems that stopped people from even discovering its content. But anyway, this is a huge point where it's really a sci-fi xianxia, and I haven't seen that previously in this way, to this extent. Almost every episode, something related to science comes up and you're like, oh my god, I just love this writer. So if that interests you, this drama is worth you spending time. Moving on to the next point, apart from the scientific part, there's a lot of deeply, deeply philosophical and meta discussions about life, time, existence, right and wrong, good and bad in the conversations of the characters. I constantly get surprised about how deep and how far the drama went. Really deep shit. Love and Destiny didn't even go this far, I'd say. They do talk about very loosely some big topics of time, life, memory, justice, sacrificing one person versus sacrificing all. And this drama, even though shorter, it actually went very, very far. Some of the best moments come from those philosophical discussions. For example, between our female lead character and the guest star Chen Chuhe playing her teacher. He only showed up one episode or two and had one major plot that needs to happen middle of the story to set up certain things. The part where the teacher and the student and how they switch their roles and how solving a problem for the teacher who's been thinking about it for thousands of years and not getting any resolution is the final thing that sent him away and set him free. It's one of those I can't believe it exists in a Chinese xianxia drama. Surprisingly deep and good discussion about so many things in a very short scene. And again, it's actually reminding me of Liu Cixin's famous novel Zhao Wendao, which is exactly what happened to scientists in that story happened to Tang Yan's role's teacher, played by Chen Chuhe, in this drama. That's why I say the writer definitely is a huge Liu Cixin fan. But apart from that, it's just like I never imagined this type of drama would actually want to tackle this type of very philosophical and deep questions. They do it for multiple episodes and multiple occasions. It kind of runs through the whole drama. This drama is, on paper, in text, one of the best and most interesting xianxia I've seen. Great misfortune that it probably will never get viewed by enough people and therefore being appreciated by enough people. One last point that I highly appreciate about this drama is this drama didn't really fully rely on the very tropey thing about, yes, the two leads in a way save each other, but it's more like the girl saves the boy. But till the end, you find it's not really she saving him. It's more like he always has been a good person, although he gets into difficult situations that prompt him to do wrong things and on the brink of actually becoming completely evil and destructive and revengeful. It is himself who managed to hold himself back the last minute and stopped all the calamity from happening. Although you can say she has a role and she played a part in it, but she's really not the definitive reason why it happened. It's more like she always knew he's a good person and she trusted in him that it wouldn't go that far, and he didn't. I like the fact that it didn't go to the very simple way of solving the problem, which is he's bad, but because she's so good that she saved him and therefore he becomes a good person. That is way too easy and lazy to solve the complicated human nature part of the story. It's more on the male character himself that he actually thought through the whole thing and he realized it's not worth doing what he is about to do, so he stopped. Anyway, I like that part. I think a lot of dramas wouldn't go to this slightly murky and then unclear and then complicated way of solving the big problem. They would just easily put it in 1 + 1 = 2 and solve it like a math question, whereas this drama solves it more like a philosophical question. And our male lead is the philosopher in the story, where our female lead is the engineer. So again, not typical way of looking at xianxia relationships and character setup. So these are the things I really like. Even though it's not perfect, I highly recommend you to watch this drama. But I know something may stop you. So now I'm gonna go into the negative part and things I think could stop you from enjoying it. It did for me for a while, and you cannot blame audiences. It really is on the drama itself. Point 1, ugly, straightforward, in your face, UGLY. Oh my god. And it almost like is unbelievable that came out in 2025. Dramas that's made 10 years ago looks better than this. And it's mostly bad in set design, and specifically in the color palette of the set design that, for the life of me, I cannot understand why they would put those colors together. And even when you have it, just use DaVinci Resolve. It's gonna make the color all change however you like. If you have somebody sitting in post-production room having a little bit of sense of how you should put color together, it could have looked so much better, but unfortunately, the color is horrendous, particularly yellow. Of all the lights, ugly lemon yellow light that doesn't go with any other color in the drama, and they just so eyesore. They could easily tweak it in post-production. It will look instantly 10 times better. And if you look at the camera movement, the lens choices, the angle of coverage, the lighting, maybe not as bad as, say, that drama with Li Qing and Zheng Shunxi. That's like really bad. This is like slightly better, but not that much. And Guo Hu is not a director known for good camera work. He's known for ridiculous camera work. Luckily for this drama, he didn't do that many ridiculous moves, but he didn't do any good moves at all. Put it in contrast, if you're watching the Tencent current contemporary drama 值得爱, Such a Good Love, Wang Anyu and Wang Yuwen, if it's the camera people shooting 念无双, using their aesthetics and their ideas about how to use camera to tell a story. This drama may get a lot more views. Just by the beauty of the looks, you don't have to change anything about the script. Just the camera work would have made this drama so much better. And then the worst part is styling. Hair, makeup, costume for the lead characters, particularly early stage, it actually got better later, but it's too late. The first couple of episodes look so bad that it probably deter a lot of people. Tang Yan is a very pretty lady. If you can manage to make her look this weird, you just have the worst stylist imaginable. The hairline is weird, the wig is weird, and the wig is bad. Like, look at how short and bad the hair is. And then the wig is bad on the guys, the costume doesn't help them, the lighting doesn't make them look good. Anyway, it just is ugly. When it aired, like on first day, a lot of people complained about how bad it looks, and everybody complains about that. And so far, I think nobody has said anything good about its styling, and I agree with them. If you wanna enjoy the good parts of the drama that I recommend this drama to you earlier in this video, in a way you have to willingly, blindly follow the first couple of episodes and ignore how ugly it is. And that's hard on you. And if you couldn't do it, I wouldn't blame you. Once the story catches and then starts to go to the deeper and funnier part, you probably can ignore how bad it looks. Second point, the biggest problem, I think, particularly after watching the 超点 episodes, the episodes you pay money for, it unfortunately falls into the often happening trap of Chinese dramas, which is the last couple of episodes just don't do what you want them to do, or they don't satisfy the audiences. In 念无双's case, it is not a crush, failing, completely just like baffling ending, but unfortunately it fell back into the comfort zone of xianxia drama genre's narrative. And it, in a way, is not in line with its earlier spirit. Whether it's the jokes, the comedy, or the scientific things, or the philosophical discussion, it gives you the sense that the characters in this world are so unusual compared to classic xianxia characters. They really have a very interesting way of viewing the world and values and what they believe in and their talents. Therefore, it could totally resolve the story in a more inventive, previously usually don't happen in xianxia world way, yet they fall back to the very expected way of solving all the problems at the end. And pretty much from episode 30 onwards, you can guess everything, literally step by step, and it kills the excitement you earlier had with this drama when you don't know what next episode is going to be, and they always deliver something surprisingly funny. You've already gotten so far. Or just take a couple of more steps and you kind of break through the traditional whatever expectation of the genre, and you didn't. You actually walked backwards. And I'm like, it's like almost like a last punch and you just don't deliver it. This one example probably is one of the biggest problems people have with this story. The female lead, she had these 3 vows she made and she will never break them. If she breaks them, she will die, because that's like how the system of the heavenly rule works. This is very classic, and usually at the end you're gonna have the scene where she has to break those vows and it's gonna incur a very heavy penalty. But because how the drama has been happening up to the point where everything is happening kind of unexpectedly and with the new fresh scientific aspect of it, the drama could have actually worked around it in a very clever way, because the female lead, she's engineering genius and she's very logical. She's the scientific person, right? She does mathematics in her head type of thing. You'd think she's so logical, she would be able to basically outsmart the system, because the system is stupid. You watch the drama, it actually sets up the system as this almost like you put computer program in it and it just runs. It doesn't care about whether it makes sense once it starts running. For example, for Bai Shu's character, this guy who gets a lightning strike every 49 days, because he is qualified to become an immortal. So the last test by heaven's rule would be lightning striking you, and if you don't die, you become an immortal. He's already qualified, but because of the connection channel between immortal and human realm got broken, therefore there's no way of him to go. But then the heavenly system is stupid enough to still strike him every 49 days, not knowing he couldn't go. So you basically have already set up that the system is so rigid and stupid, and it's like a dead program that doesn't have AI intelligence. Therefore, if you have those 3 vows that also works in the system, then there are multiple ways of going around it. She fell in love with him quite early on, actually, not till the last moment. They've already kissed and hugged, and it's like so clear she loves him. Yet she didn't got any punishment. So clearly her vow of not falling in love with him is not on your thoughts. It's not like If you actually fell in love, even when you don't say it, you have that emotion, then that's already against the vow and you immediately get punishment. It didn't happen. She's perfectly fine. She didn't even get any uncomfortableness or sickness or anything. That means the system is stupid. As long as you don't admit with your mouth, saying it out loud, I love you, it's fine. Then I'm like, you're Chinese. You know, it's fantasy world, but you're Chinese. Do you know like Chinese language is the most effective language in not saying out loud, but then saying exactly what you mean in the meandering way? Like this is what Chinese does. Okay, we can do that all day long. If that's not enough, you just have to do Irene Adler's thing to Sherlock in the new Sherlock version when she had a shower. And she said, I can have you twice right here and make you beg for mercy. Like, just do that to him. You're a goddess, so you actually have the power to do that to him. Although he's powerful, he probably is not going to fight back. Just do it a couple of times. This guy is going to get fully 100% that you like him. Even when you don't say it out loud. It does not matter, okay? You have action. As long as you don't say, you're fine. Because apparently the system is stupid. So for all her vows, the 3 vows of not telling him who she really is, what's her purpose, and then she loves him, it's so easy to get around the system. And if you say this is not doable, you have to set it up early. You have to do it in the story to say it's on the heart, on the thought, on the emotion, not on the action. But then you have to figure out why the guy got lightning strike every 49 days. So you have to basically give us the parameter of what's the rules of this world, and then it makes sense for her to basically do the last couple of episodes thing that angers everybody. Because of previously, you've set up this world in this really interesting and funny scientific way. Therefore, later, when it happens in the traditional way, the 2 things are contradictory to each other and it doesn't satisfy the audience's expectation. This is one of the biggest problems this story has. Unfortunately, it fell back to the cliche. And then the ambiguous sort of open ending of things that I'm like, it totally didn't need to go that way. From this drama's not very successful airing period, we can draw the conclusion, even when you have a really good story on paper, if you don't know how to sell it, market it, and also present it, you cannot blame the market for not noticing you. Had this drama put more effort in making itself look better, present better, and even in its promotional state, actually let people know what you are. Because during the trailers, you couldn't see any of those great elements that I've mentioned. Because this genre, Xianxia, is getting very, very old in Chinese drama land. It's in a world where everybody's default state when they come to a Xianxia drama is, it's another 3 lifetimes. The whole world is about to collapse and our love is gonna save it. Everybody is expecting that and they all feel very tired of it. And everything looks similar. They are all shot in the same locations. People are all having the same hairstyle. It's so old and boring. And you actually have the look of the old and boring, and probably even worse than most old and boring looks. You kind of totally worked against yourself when you actually have really interesting content, but it's completely covered under this like archaic shell that no one has the obligation to break through that by themselves. They don't owe you anything. So if you want to sell it, you kind of have to do it in a different way. You either, even from the styling point of view, when you start with the look of it, do it differently than others so that you signal people, we are different, come and look at us. They didn't do any of that. And unfortunately also, the bankruptcy of the company. So it ends up with this. Most people didn't catch this drama, will never catch it because as time goes on, new things will be coming. Apart from, for example, if you know somebody like Avenue X who's so good at, like looking at these things, and highly recommend you and you trust me and you go and you find it. Otherwise, people are just gonna completely miss it. As for the lead actors, say Tang Yan and Liu Xueyi, I still don't think they did wrong choice, because if you want to pick a drama in this genre, I'd say if it's me, I'd rather pick a script that I think is interesting. If they were in any way still having some part of the pure love for acting and characters and performance, then they would appreciate on paper how interesting these 2 characters are and how many good lines came out of their mouth, compared to a normal Xianxia that may make them look better, but ultimately is having no substance. That would be everything I can think of about Nian Wushuang. I'm really happy I discovered it and didn't pass it over. It is not absolutely necessary for this world to have great Xianxia, okay, for it to function. It would be great if it does. At least it will make me make a lot of interesting videos. That should be the end of this video from Avenue X. Have you watched this drama? If you have, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section. Please take care. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy drama watching.